to eliminate. I'm not saying you can't get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. I think most people would be on board with that. But cutting Social Security or Medicare, Medicaid, you have a lot of Republicans on those programs. And you have the richest guy in the world doing it. You're trying to make a case why these cuts are necessary. You have the richest guy on earth with 15 children running around with a chainsaw telling people why this is good. Are Republicans totally not freaking out? Are they not? Is there not anybody there going, this is shaping up to be a big problem? This looks weird. This isn't what anyone voted for. Nobody really voted for Elon Musk to be running around the White House with a chainsaw. Is that crazy to say that this? Now, I think Trump, and I've said it before, sees these guys coming a mile away. He's a casino guy from Queens. He has political instincts running around the White House. He's a brawler. He understands the value of building people up. Sometimes he understands the value of hanging them out to dry, too. He understands fall guys. We've gone over that. I fully don't know what this is. I think a lot of people don't know what it is. I think Trump likes him. He's really rich. He's the wealthiest guy in the world. He's an incredibly powerful guy. He owns an incredibly powerful social media platform. He certainly is a visionary guy, but this vision isn't good. This makes people incredibly uncomfortable. And by the way, increasingly, I think that's Republicans that are looking at this going, what is this? What is this? Is that the deep state? Park rangers? Is that what anyone thought the deep state was, going and firing a bunch of park rangers? Now, listen, I'm against national parks. Truly. I don't care about them.
Oh my God.
I think that a lot of people go in there and they end up dead because I think a lot of people that are really over the top into nature are actually very sick and twisted and hate human beings and want to kill others. That's all. And I've said that before. I'm not saying you can't be into nature, but to be overly into it, I think is actually a problem. That's my own belief. Now, you have, they're slashing all of this stuff. You know, no one thought the deep state or the swamp was like veterans who were like working as a national, working as park rangers. Nobody thought that was the deep state. Mr. Musk is still committed to his own super PAC, which has now spent $6 million to support a conservative candidate in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election next month. He spent close to $300 million on the presidential race last cycle, almost all to America PAC, which he founded last year. He's become the biggest donor in American political life, in right-wing politics. He's the most powerful person in the world. And also, he's a guy that believes that we have to go to Mars and merge with AI and no longer be humans. And no one seems to question that. Everybody seems to go, that's cool. I mean, literally, Elon Musk has said, no. In order to defeat AI, we have to merge with it. We have to literally alter our humanity. This is legitimately what he believes. That's not a conspiracy. That's what he believes. Nobody brings it up. Nobody really brings it up. I don't think populism, as has been described, includes merging with machines and going to Mars. I don't think that's what anyone envisioned that populism was, by the way. And all these tech people, as Bannon said, and other people have said, and I've said, these people were Democrats until 15 minutes ago. They don't give a shit about anything. They don't really care about politics. They want to leave Earth. The less money for Social Security, the more money he can build rockets to leave the planet. That's all they're trying to do. So it's a huge, massive mistake for Donald Trump to turn over his presidency to Elon Musk. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why it's happening. And I disagree with close friends of mine who think Elon Musk is, the savior of, this is Jesus. If Jesus came back, he'd be Elon Musk. He'd come through South Africa and design cars that don't need gas and buy X. That's what Jesus would be. I have friends that think he's Jesus. that Jesus is back. Well, this is what Jesus looks like now. Elon Musk. The guy's a billionaire who wants to go to Mars, and normal people are going, what the fuck is this? I can't get a knee operation. This idea of like reining in billionaires and Wall Street and plutocrat. And where's that Epstein's list, by the way? Where's that? You ain't seeing that. Where's that list? The Republicans now control all of the government. Now, I know, I'm not stupid. Are there factions that are against them and working against them? Absolutely. But how long can you blame that? Truly, how long can you blame all of this hidden power structures and everything? At what point do you hold the people accountable that you elected and say, yeah, I guess they're not really serious about releasing that list, which I never thought they were, by the way. All this stuff that you think you're going to find out, and you think you're going to find out how it all works, and then you're not. That's why I've told all of you, always, this show is entertainment. Whether I'm right or wrong or in the middle, all you're getting out of any of these things is entertainment, including your own government, by the way. There is not going to be, you're not going to be saved. There's not going to be, can the government do some good things? Absolutely. Like supporting poor people, veterans, providing a national defense, making sure the country has a border, making sure the economy is somewhat reasonably fair. Yes. You're not, this isn't a movie where the movie ends with Elon putting you on his spaceship and going to Mars. You're not going to Mars. I'm sorry about that. These people are also the elites, which people talk about the elites, and I talk about it myself. Because the elites are completely out of touch, but these elites are also out of touch. It's also out of touch that think the biggest issue is let's go to Mars. That's also out of touch. That's not in touch. Go talk to a working family who can't put food on the table. See how many times they mention Mars. I guarantee it's not at all. Go speak to a mother whose house is burned down at Altadena and ask her about Mars and how often she's thinking about Mars. She's not. Ask her at what point if she's thinking a lot about the Neuralink shit. She's not. These aren't bread and butter issues that people give a shit about, by the way. They're just not. They're not. People want a border. They want law and order. They want to, they're not trying to ship themselves and their kids. That's not a big issue, but that is the issue to these people. The guys like Elon, it is the issue. I just think it's a huge mistake. It's a huge mistake. I love Bill. Everyone I know uses Bill, especially if you're a renter. Here's the thing. We earn points to groceries, travel, and practically everything else we buy. We should also be earning points on rent. One of the biggest monthly expenses, Bill changed on rent and around the neighborhood. This is for all those renters who pay their rent on time. There's no cost to join Bill. And as a member, you'll earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Bill points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines, 7,000 hotels and properties available for your points. Points can also be used towards the future rent payment So if you're not only earning points on rent, my question is, why not? Start earning points on rent. You're already paying rent. Earn the points. Go to joinbilt.com/Tim. That's joinbilt.com/Tim. If you don't own a home and you're forced to roam, use Bilt. You're a renter. Go to joinbilt.com/Tim. That's joinbilt.com/TIM. joinbilt.com/TIM. Make sure to use our URL so they know that we sent you. That's joinbilt.com/Tim to start earning points on your rent payments today. Renters, come on. This is for you. If all your money is spent and you're forced to rent, use Bilt. You don't own anything. I also think this guy, the Gaza guy, Oh God, I always fuck up these names. Khalil, is it Khalil Mahmoud? What is it? Oh, stop it. I was close enough. Mahmoud Khalil? Is it? Is that what I said? That's what I said. Mahmoud Khalil, this guy. Now listen, I don't know this guy. I don't know if I agree with the things he says. I don't know what he says. But I know he was doing a protest at Columbia University. Remember these protests, these encampments that all these kids had? I went to one of these at UCLA. I was curious. I just walked in. And of course, people were taking photos of me. They were thrilled to meet me. And I said to them, you're not Hamas. You don't have it. Because immediately you should have kidnapped me. But instead they were taking photos and selfies with me. And I'm like, oh, if you're taking photos with a podcaster, you don't have... But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Hamas would have too. Maybe if I met Hamas, they also would have said, oh my God, I know him. And maybe, I don't know. All I'm saying is that I think this is a bad precedent to set. And I don't think that the federal government should be detaining people based on speech. Now listen, did they break laws in the encampment? Absolutely. Did they occupy an area? Sure. Is that going to be part of the government's argument? Yes. That this guy's a Hamas supporter. Listen, it's a very... You're on shaky legal ground. If somebody, people support all kinds of things in theory with their speech, okay? And all of them aren't necessarily good. In fact, most things people say are insane. That's number one. Most things people say are insane. I have threatened to kill members of my family. I have threatened this government and others. I have threatened people's children. I have threatened their pets. I have threatened people's businesses. I have threatened directors, producers, agents, managers, business managers. I have threatened friends. I have threatened colleagues. I have threatened acquaintances. I have told lies about things to people in order to make them fearful and afraid, in order to make them feel worse about their lives. I have said things that other people didn't say about them to them to punish them, to hurt them, to make them feel bad. I have created realities that don't exist to hurt and destroy other people. This is what is done. So I don't think that every word said has to be tried in a court of law. Most things people say are insane. It doesn't matter. I've lied about having cancer. I've lied. I've lied to people about my life. I've said I've had more money than I've had and less money than I've had. I've said I was attracted to people I wasn't. I've said I wasn't attracted to people that I was. I lied. I lied because it's the human condition to say insane shit. That's what we do. You can't just hang someone for saying crazy shit. I might support Hamas if I'm wronged by a Jew. And if I'm wronged by a Muzzy, I will support the Jews. It doesn't matter. I should be able to live in that space. I've been a Hamas supporter when I see what Netflix is going to pay me. I go, what is wrong with them? Jesus Christ! I'm asking for something. But then when they do something nice to me, I become a supporter of the Jews, and I don't like Hamas anymore. We all like Hamas occasionally. Anyone with a landlord is a little bit of a Hamas fan from the end of the month to the beginning of the month, but then you don't like Hamas after the 3rd of January. But on the 2nd of January, all of us kind of support Hamas. Everyone does. If you're in the business I'm in and you audition for something, if you don't hear for a week, you sort of support Hamas. But then when you get the role, you understand that Hamas is a barbaric terrorist organization. Do you see what I mean? I've supported Al-Qaeda and then I've been against them. It's my right. It's my right. Some of these training videos videos look fun.
Warning.
You know,
Slayer
sometimes
threat
it
level
is fun
at
to
maximum.
train in the desert. I don't know what it's for. Khalil was born and raised in Syria, and his Palestinian grandparents were removed from their homeland, according to his lawsuit. He came to the U.S. on a student visa in 2022 to pursue graduate studies at Columbia. Now, here's the other thing, and I'm totally with the Bannon on this point. I think we need to educate Americans. I think we need to have Americans getting into higher education. We need to stop giving up on American citizens. I think we need a moratorium on immigration for everybody, by the way. Low skill, high skilled, Elons, indentured servants who wants to bring over. I think that we deal with the people we have in this country now. We're trying to make their lives better. I also understand why you have foreign students come to America and learn about America. I get it. That's part of the soft power of the United States. I understand that. He served as a student negotiator, a role that had him speaking frequently with university officials and the press. What the hell did a student negotiate? Oh. More recently, he was among the pro-Palestinian activists investigated by a new disciplinary body at Columbia University focused on harassment and discrimination complaints. So here's the thing, they want to deport him because of his, he has a green card, but he's I don't know, this is all immigration law, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm just talking about the general principle. The general principle is this. I understand if you're here and you commit a crime, you know, depending on the severity of the crime and depending on the circumstances, you're not in a good place. You don't have the levy. But I'm just telling you right now, people say all kinds of stuff. That's the reality. I don't know. For example, a legal permanent resident can also be expelled for providing material support to terrorist groups. In this case, the government has been convicted to bring deportation charges. It really just depends on what he did with Hamas. What does he do with Hamas? Is he texting Hamas? What is happening with Hamas with him? I don't know. But just saying I like Hamas, I've said that. And I don't even support them. It's just something to say. I don't know. Every word can't be like we're engraving it in stone, like, oh my God, you mean this. Hold on. The Department of Homeland Security said the arrest was conducted, quote, in support of President Trump's executive order on anti-Semitism, alleging that Khalil, quote, led activities aligned to Hamas, a designated terrorist organization. Now, anti-Semitism, now, I don't know what the executive order against anti-Semitism is. Like, what will it stop you from doing? Like, can I, as an American citizen, be anti-Semitic? I'm a citizen. What exactly is the law? Is it only people that come to the country that are not allowed to be anti-Semitic? Or how does this work? I'm like confused about the law. That's a strange law to have. What is that? Is that one of the executive orders? He wrote like 1 million executive orders. One of them's like, don't be anti-Semitic? That's interesting. I'm just saying, I don't know if you can deport this guy just because, you know, he got into a little bit at the protest. Because you start to get into character. I would go to this protest. You got this non-binary Asian to dress like Hamas, and some of that was fun. It's fun to see people dress up. Now, obviously, there's geopolitical ramifications to it. I'm not an idiot. But here's what I mean. Look at this Cinderella, or Snow White, rather. This thing's, Disney's in big trouble here. And again, because you have Rachel Zegler, who's in Hamas, and Gal Gadot, who's in the IDF. They're stars of the movie, and they're on both sides of the Middle East. And both sides of the Middle East are conflict. And there's no fucking dwarfs, because Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones opened his mouth and said, this is fucked up, having dwarves in the movie called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So now we got a lot of pro-Palestine, a lot of pro-Israel, and no fucking dwarfs in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So now Disney doesn't know what the hell's going on, because Rachel Zegler is coming out and screaming from the river to the sea, or whatever she does. And, you know, Gal Gadot's doing her whole thing, you know, lighting infants on fire. and there's no dwarfs. So my whole thing is, does it seem like a fun film? Does it seem like a fun film? I want to see dwarfs. I don't want Middle East conflict. I want dwarfs. World politics have also come into play. Zegler has promoted Free Palestine on social media. At the same time, Godot, who is Israeli, has become an outspoken supporter of Israel on social media, as well as in passionate speech. She delivered when she was honored at the Anti-Defamation League's annual summit in New York City. Quote, never did I imagine it on the streets of the United States and different cities around the world we would see people not condemning Hamas, but celebrating justifying and cheering on the massacre of Jews. So you have Rachel Zegler, who's like, she's just out there. She said, I hope Trump supporters never know it's peace. Rachel, yes. Now you have Gal Gadot, who's out there, you know, with Netanyahu, hardcore right-wing Israel style. And got it dwarfed to be seen. And is that them together? Show them, look how much they hate each other. Go up how much they hate each other. So, these two are in this movie about Snow White, and Zegler said it's a whole rape thing. She's like, well, it's basically like a guy who stalks a chick, and why would we even make that movie? And then Peter Dinklage says we can't have any dwarfs, and then Gal Gadot goes, all the dwarfs are being played by Israeli prostitutes. Nothing here is good. I think they shelved it. I think they shelved the thing and just scrap it. I think they scrap it. And what's going on with this ceasefire? Is it working? You're all killing still, right? These ceasefires, I mean, this is not even, I don't even pay attention to these things. This is the fakest thing ever. These ceasefires are the fake. This is when the worst couple you know says that they're actually, that things have been good. No, things are good. Yeah, why? Because you're on a business trip. Everybody's going to fight over there forever. I don't mean Ukraine and Putin. Right. I mean the Israel stuff. It's going to be difficult to have any type of ceasefire that's going. It's going to be very difficult. If you're like me, your morning follow a familiar routine. Coffee is essential since it's one thing I absolutely need to jumpstart my day. Every day I need it to be perfect. So I leveled up my daily coffee routine with trade. I always start treating myself, not spending more. But when it comes to coffee, I consider treating myself. A $7 cup in my local coffee shop with trade. I can enjoy high quality, amazing tasting coffee delivered right to my door at grocery store prices. Like many people, coffee is important to me. I can't start my day without a cup or three. Plus, I'm pretty picky. I was getting tired of the generic brands at the grocery store. That's why I turned to Trade, a coffee subscription service that delivers freshly roasted coffee straight to my door. Trade is the #1 U.S. specialty coffee marketplace, bringing you fresh coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Trade's experts have taste tested thousands of coffees to curate over 450 amazing blends. Whether you're new to coffee or know all of your favorites, they'll handpick the perfect coffee for you. Take their quiz in under a minute. They'll match you with the perfect coffee. If that first bag isn't quite right, no problem. Trade will replace it for free until they nail it. Since every bag that goes in order, you'll taste and smell the difference from your very first cup. Trade's prices are on par with grocery store brands, but the quality is next level. Plus, you're supporting local roasters, which is win-win. We've joined this. They send it. We endorse this product. I love it. It comes to the studio. We drink it. It comes to the houses. I hand out cups to people that are unhoused. Everyone loves it. It's beautiful. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering our listeners 40% off your first order at drinktrade.com. That's drinktrade, TRADE.com/Tim. 40% off your first offer. Guys, you got to do this. It is so essential right now to not spend a lot of money. Batten down the hatches. The economy's got problems. Drinktrade.com for 40% off your first order. Drinktrade.com/Tim. Let's look at this Meghan Markle stuff, because this is actually better than I thought. I didn't think I would enjoy this as much as I did, but here's why. This woman, who I have now a fondness for, is criminally insane. And what's amazing about this show, and what makes it actually fun and interesting, is the depths of her insanity reveal themselves throughout the program. Every person that she has on the show is someone that she hates. She doesn't have friends. Meghan Markle doesn't have friends, and this is kind of why I respect her. Friends are not part of her overall role. She has connections. She has people whose necks she can step on to get to the next level. She does not have friends. She does not care about other human beings. She only wants power. And the only way that she feels that she can get it is by leveraging her relationships with certain people. That's not friendship. And you see in the show that there are no friends. She wouldn't know what a friend is. Everyone's fearful of her. Everyone's cagey around her. She doesn't know what's going to happen. And what's interesting about her is the thing that launched her, which is this like crazy era of like identity politics run rampant. She actually really destroys inclusion. Because if you came up with a picture of an annoying, insufferable white woman, it would be Meghan Markle. If you came up with an out-of-touch, suburban white woman, it would be Meghan Markle, even though she's not white. What I mean to say is that Meghan Markle in her own show proves that it is not about race. It is about the demon that lives inside of all of us and letting that demon out. But can we see that speech she gives that you just played there? Do you see that? If you haven't watched this show, it's impossible to describe not only how entertaining it is, but again, for all the wrong reasons, she's a very, very sick person.
I just want to raise a glass to you guys. This feels like a new chapter that I'm so excited that I get to share. All of that is just part of that creativity that I've missed so much.
Yeah, so that's the creativity she's missing. And the creativity is, making, pasta. Because that's what the show is, make pasta. That's the creativity she's missing. Making turmeric tea and honey. And she just kind of goes through the kitchen. It's a little moment. It's just a little moment. It's so simple and so good. It's not about perfection. It's about the truth. You strive for truth. It's about happiness. And you want it to be cozy, remind you of home. You want it to remind you of home. I don't know where my autistic husband is. He doesn't know where he is. He's not allowed to see his family. I destroyed a monarchy. So we could have a little dish, and you just take the cherry tomatoes, put them in a pan with a little garlic, and it's a family that's been around for centuries, and I destroyed it. And you want to wilt the vegetables, which is actually different than stewing them. Stewing them, they lose all of their character, but when you kind of wilt them, they're halfway between fresh and stewed. And I killed his mother, and I actually killed his father. They're both dead now. His father's not dead, but his mother is dead. His grandmother is dead, and she couldn't bear to see what was happening. I also staged a chase in New York City, like the one his mother had, and I actually wore sweatshirts that his mother wore. I'm a deeply sick person, and it's just about kind of giving them a cake. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just use local honey, and you fold that honey into the frosting. It's lovely. Little Archie loves it, and Lilibet. And they're going to see me, what'd you do to Daddy's family? I said, I killed them. I killed them all. I brought you all back to Santa Barbara. She's a sick bitch. Is there any interaction from this that we can play to just give people a little idea of how genuinely unhinged she is? Again, they've already greenlit season 2 of this show. My special on Netflix will be out later. I'm trying to get Meghan to a promo. She will not. No, but we are offering her that opportunity to laugh at herself because, again, I like her. This is what people don't get about me. I am here to appreciate humanity in all its forms. When you start judging people and becoming a moralist, the show gets very boring. I like her. What she has done, okay? What the world she has manifested is so impressive and so and insane. Only I should sit back and kind of be in awe of her. In awe of her. She is full of the type of hate that I find aspirational. Her hatred of other people as soon as they walk into her home. I strive for that. I'm actually a big pussy. I talk a big game. I'm actually kind of happy to see most of them. The hatred in her eyes for these people is something that I aspire to. And she doesn't want to have to dance around and do the game. She wants to be much more famous than that. She wants to be much more famous than that. But the guests that she has gotten, she is not. She is unhappy with it. They walk in and she has hatred in her eyes. Why do I have to do this? I'm better than this. And that's the attitude that gets you far in this business. If you can hate your circumstances enough to create new ones, you're going to do it. I think that Megan will actually figure out a way. She'll get the thing that she wants. Yes, we all hate her, but it doesn't matter. She doesn't care that we hate her. You know why? She hates us. That's why she wins. She hates us. She hates us. She thinks we're pigs. We're disgusting. We don't know how to use fucking silverware. She thinks we're all sweet isling in our backyard. We're just a bunch of fat Nazis who don't know how to make a proper cupcake. She hates us. She thinks we're pigs. And we should only see people like her behind glass. She's here to educate these fat, disgusting Nazi pig wives how to make a little pasta for the kid. Make a salad for the kid, you big Nazi bitch. That's what she wants. She's here to help us, and it is her hatred of us. She loathes and abominates us, and it is why she succeeds. Most people would fall apart with the hate that Meghan Markle gets, but it only fuels her because hate, when it hits hate, refracts. Doesn't work. Doesn't matter. She isn't trying to win a popularity contest. She has aimed her laser at some of the richest people on earth that feel good by making her dreams come true. She's not playing to Betty Bowling Alley or Fatty Bombani or any of these people. She knows that if she gets the upper echelon to fuck with her, eventually it'll trickle down to the little pig people, and she's just trying to, get to start your own garden. You start your own garden, you little pig. You start your own garden. Oh, your son OD'd? Make your own Narcan. We'll make it. I'll teach you how to make Narcan. That way you don't lose your other son. I make my own Narcan. It's so simple to make your own Narcan and just have it. It's so important because there's so many people OD'd at this party. You can just go downstairs and taste it with this Narcan. And in several minutes, your son's friend is actually standing up and ready to go to the hospital. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not here because everything's going to be exactly the way we want it. Sometimes our son overdoses in the bathroom, and we have to go in there with the Narcan that we've made. We can make our own Narcan. All right, let's watch a little bit of this.
Including her pal, Mindy Kaling.
I don't think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box
It's
and
so
loves it.
funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now.
Yeah. And what she's saying is, listen to me, you fat bitch. See, this is what she's saying. Listen to me, you fat bitch. You know, she's such a monarch, Meghan Markle. And in the history of the world, the Meghan Markles of the world would be, oppressive and independent. Meghan Markle's like, listen, you bitch. My empire ran your shit for years. Don't call me my dead name. Don't call me my dead name. That's not my name in these streets. My name is Sussex. You bitch. Is there any other interaction with this lady?
No, I share my name with my children. And that feels so, I didn't know how meaningful it would be to me, but it just means so much to go, this is our family name.
Right. Would it mean a lot if it wasn't royal, though? Would it mean as much? You see her eyes? You see her eyes? She's most interesting thing about Meghan Markle is that she's not human being, never becoming a human being. Honey Bunny Bear, they'll never become a human being. She'll be so happy. The best version of Meghan Markle is exactly the one you are seeing right now. She is completely, her lust for power, for status, for fame is so naked and so transparent. The demon inside of her is coming out of her eyes, and she's trying to be a human being, only to just be enough of a human being in the shadows. But, I mean, your own father's out there going, this bitch is out of control. Like, it doesn't bother her. Again, you would think someone's father on the thing going, she's terrible. You know, but it doesn't bother her, and I respect her. God, I respect her. Although my father, given the chance, probably screaming out how much I think if I was making pancakes in Santa Barbara. And I might be. But what she does so well, okay, and what has to be noted and what actually has to be respected, she actually remains above any meaningful human moment, any authentic human moment, which most people would have by accident. She has not one of them the whole time. Everything is forced and awkward and terrifying because it is just a way for her to get to that next level that she envisions this show's going to go on for 4 or 5 seasons, and at that point, she's going to have Martha Stewart living, she's going to be a target, and all these fat white women are going to walk in and buy all her shit, and she's going to be a big billionaire, and she's going to turn around to the royal family and say, fuck you, and she might be right. She might be right. Here's a not-so-well-kept secret. The insurance industry does not want you to know. Insurance companies profit by holding out to their premiums and reserves longer, so they may be motivated to delay or deny claims to keep funds invested. Morgan & Morgan fights hard to bully these bullies who are using your money to make them richer, as they often deny and delay the payments that you are owed. When Morgan & Morgan takes on a case, they're almost always going to go after the deep-pocketed insurance companies and not the individuals at fault. Don't feel bad if they're not going after the individuals. They're going after these deep-pocketed insurance behemoths. Florida, a client received $12 million after the insurance company's best because the people don't have any money. They go after the insurance company. In Florida, a client received $12 million after the insurance company's best offer was $250,000. In Pennsylvania, the client was offered $26 million, a staggering 40 times the insurance company's original offer of $650,000. This is when Morgan & Morgan gets up and goes, I know you're offering $350,000, but because of your product, my client doesn't have a head. Do you understand that? And then the jury looks over, and it's a bully with no head. Because my client is headless. You think $350,000 is enough when someone doesn't have a head? He doesn't have a head! He's sitting here without a head! And then the jury's like, makes sense. And then they get the money. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous. Hiring the right firm can substantially increase your settlement. With Morgan & Morgan, it's easy to get started, and their fee is free unless they win. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous, so don't do it. Visit forthepeople.com/Jim or dial pound law, pound 529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Jim or dial pound law, pound 529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Jim or dial pound law, pound 529 from your cell phone. This is a paid advertisement, but I would do it for free. That's how much I like when insurance companies get sued. If you slip and fall in a Wendy's and they have not put the sign up, and now you're laying on the floor of a Wendy's and you're injured, and no one told you that there was a wet floor, sue Wendy's. Because they give you money. What's wrong with you people out there not suing people, these idiots in the plane when it flips over? Oh, I'm grateful no one got hurt. Shut up! The plane flipped over. Get your money. You've all been beaten down so badly by corporations. It's not the joy of getting yours. Get what's yours. forthepeople.com/Jim. Dial pound law, pound 529. Put your cell phone. Hey, Dad. Speaking of air travel, there are literal demons now on the planes. Literal demons on the flights. So, as it swallows your sister were traveling to Haiti to escape religious attacks of a spiritual nature. A satanic disciple had stowed away on a flight to Florida as one passenger saw, and something had to be done. Less than a minute after an American Airlines flight took off from Savannah, Georgia from Miami on Monday night, the passenger began yelling and shaking. Flight attendants initially thought he was having a seizure, but it turned out he was struggling because he believed the demonic spirit had invaded the cabin, and at some point during the flight began swallowing rosary beads to ward that spirit off. As attendants approached the man, Galante Augustine, 31, he kicked one of them in the chest so hard that the attendant tumbled across the aisle into a window on the other side of the plane. That's when the cabin crew realized that Mr. Augustine, who was traveling with his sister, was not having a medical emergency. His choices appeared purposeful, though difficult to describe. A special agent with the FBI wrote the affidavit filed. Pilots turned the plane around when they heard the commotion and landed in safety in Savannah. That was not the end of the episode. Disembarkation from the jet spiraled into chaos when Mr. Augustine stormed to the front of the plane and threw several wild punches at the flight attendant before the door had been opened. So this is a guy who's being possessed by a demon on American Airlines. So just to let you know, that's also what you're contending with. It's not only air traffic controllers or overworked staff or busy airports or mechanical failure. It's demons on the plane. It's a demon. He's a demon on the plane. Mr. Guts told his sister to close her eyes and pray because Satan's disciples had followed him off the plane and believed they didn't want him to make it to Haiti. Sounds fun. Sounds fun. So there's literal demons now on the plane. You can add this to the mix. People now, I fly a lot. People tell me, they go, is flying safe? What's going on with flying? So now this is a fun thing to actually include. You can say, well, now actually there are demons on the planes. And those people are fighting at a spiritual war in the air, 30,000 feet in the air. There are people that are being possessed by demons. That's going to have to be a question that's asked now as you go through airport security. Do you feel you are being currently possessed by a demon? No. Oh, thank you. Do you have any liquids? Yeah. Is a laptop out of the bed? Are you currently being possessed by a demonic entity? Not that you're aware of. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Go through the metal detector on the right. No liquids, and if you're, and there's going to be a line, there will be a line for people who are being possessed by a demon. By the way, there'll be a separate, like, they have clear and TSA pre, there'll be a separate line for the demonic possession. They'll just hand you a rosary and go, good luck. Can you imagine that? People on the ground in Savannah, they go, what happened to the plane? There was a demon on it. And they literally, and they go, what are you talking about? No, there was a demon on the plane, speaking in demon language. Trying to rid the demon by eating rosary beads. We had to land. That sounds like the biggest lie. They go, really? Did you drink and miss your flight? No, there was a demon that was trying to do an exorcism on himself in the plane. I mean, it really is getting to a point now where if you do not have to fly, just don't do it. Really don't do it right now. If you do not have to be somewhere, don't be there. I don't understand why you would keep going there. Just one of these spam calls. But I'll tell you this, I hate the fact that I have to fly all the time, and it is something that I have to do. And there's a new, the new reality of the world, and there is a new reality, and it's like, what is essential? Is it an essential trip? Is this friendship essential? Really, truly, is the money you're spending essential? And I think that's what people have to think about. U.S. unveils a new app for self-deportation. This is a new app where I think you self-deport on the app. The Trump administration is repurposing a mobile application originally created to facilitate asylum appointments into a way for undocumented migrants already in the U.S. to self-deport. The app, known as CBP Home, allows immigrants to submit an intent to depart. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol says offers them a chance to leave without harsher consequences. So basically, you're like, just go on the app. Just go on the app. We can do it easily or hard? Hard is we have to go get you, but easy is you just go on the app. You go on the app and you click leave. Just click the icon that says leave, leaving. If they don't, we will find them and deport them, and they will never return. The Statement of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, that's the woman who shot her dog in the head, said that by self-deporting through the app, migrants may still have the opportunity to return legally in the future and live the American dream. And they should say that on the app. Self-deport and then return legally later and live the American dream. What is the likelihood anyone's using this app to self-deport, by the way? I mean, by the way, I don't think they have the resources to support all these people anyway. So who's on the app? Who can chance it instead of going, you're going to go on the app and click leave? Just go on the app. And then what happens? According to DHS, the app is meant to complement a $200 million domestic and international campaign calling for undocumented migrants to stay out and leave now. The Stay Out and Leave Now campaign. So you open the app and it just goes, get out. What kind of app is this? This is a crazy app. Who designed that app? You open the app and it goes, stay out and leave now. Leave now and stay out is the campaign. So wait a minute. That's the whole thing. Like something they're deporting everyone. It's just an app that some shitty guy in Silicon Valley created. Just some shitty app. And this is all it is. It's just DoorDash for immigrants telling them to leave. Hey, get the fuck out of here. What is this? That's all it is? So that's what this whole thing was. He just wants to sell Teslas on a White House lawn, and then there's an app that's just, you're gonna get a push notification to leave? You should be leaving. Are you leaving now? Are you leaving now? And stay out. And then once you cross the border, it goes, and stay out. And then do you still have the app so you can track? Can immigrants track each other even? Is it like Venmo? Where you can see that I split a sandwich with someone? Is that the app? CPP Home? Can I see if other immigrants
God,
and where they
right
are in
there.
their journey? I'm like, oh, you said you would leave, but I see on the app you're not. You're the dot. That dot hasn't moved. You're full of shit. I mean, what the fuck is this app? This is, by the way, this is why the tech community wanted to get in with Trump. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to build the deportation app. Does anyone believe that any of this that this is going to work at all? Submit intent to depart. View my departure, and then verify departure. Make that bigger. View my departure. View your departure report from the... This is so Orwellian. You should download it. Our buddies here watching. I mean, this is so crazy. View my departure, and then verify my departure. Departing traveler, and it's just the United States, and then it has arrows going up and then arrows going down. So that's what this whole thing is. That's what the whole thing is just this new application. That's so funny. That's so crazy. What is it saying? Homeland Security overhauls its asylum phone app. Now it's for self-deportation. CBP. Oh, it's ratings and reviews on the app for 2.9 out of 5. Oh, let's go. Really bad to get an appointment. This app has several bugs that need to be corrected. In our case, we were a Cuban family that was stranded in Mexico with 2 minors since December 29th. There are 4 of us in total. We've been trying to get an appointment at the border for more than 10 days, but it always gives a different error. That's probably by design. We have even completed the entire process where we fit it after capturing the photos of us and the passes. Go to the next app. I mean, this is a 1-star review of the deportation app. By the way, who is reviewing the deportation app with 5 stars? Who's like, they was able to be kicked out of the country easily and efficiently. Instead of Homeland Security knocking my door down, this allowed me to self-deport because my daughter said she was pro-Hamas at Columbia University. It was an easy, efficient process. Listen to this. Bug alert. Save button from profile does not work. This is like when I select edit traveler profile, the fields on the screen are filled out. no message shown. When I select again, edit traveler profile, the field on the screen are empty, so it keeps going. It's so annoying to fill out your edit traveler profile. I mean, yeah, again, people are angry and upset about this app. This is how much we're living in a tech dystopia. These people aren't even like mad they're leaving the country. They just think crap. That's how it all got. We'll all just be reviewing an app at the end. There's no other place for any of us to go except just to review an app. But it doesn't really work. They'll be forcing us to kill ourselves with an app. They'll be a euthanasia app. There'll be an app for the suicide pods, and someone will go, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I tried to get an appointment at that pod for 3 weeks in a row. The app just keeps clearing all the fields after I fill out the information. That's the world Elon Musk, by the way. Well, all you can do is review your suicide app. Because if you're not chosen to merge with AI, and you won't be, then what happens? Then you go on the suicide pod app, you get your information out, and you deport from Earth. If you think self-deporting from America is the only thing, you're out of your mind. You're self-deporting from Earth, by the way. And these people are going to make it easy and efficient for you. They want to make it easy and efficient for you, and they're like, I'm telling you right now, and I like what Trump is doing with foreign policy. You got to get out of the Ukraine war. America's not the boss anymore. We share the planet with China and Russia. I know you might not like it, and North Korea and Iran. You can't fight a war on 3 stages. I agree with a lot of what Trump's doing with foreign policy. It makes a lot of sense, even though people are yelling and kicking and screaming. On the domestic side, handing your presidency over, handing it over to Elon Musk, who's running around with a chainsaw, potentially on ketamine, probably on ketamine, is the biggest mistake I've seen made. And this is the hubris. This is the hubris that allowed the Biden administration to do all the crazy things that got the Democrats thrown out of office. This is the hubris where you go, oh, we're going to run this octogenarian dementia patient, Joe Biden, until he gets out on the stage and literally dies in front of everyone. Then we're going to run Kamala Harris, his empty-headed secretary, vice president notwithstanding. No one knows what she did, not even her. The hubris that allows you to make that decision is the same hubris that allows you to just hand the federal government over to a guy that a lot of people in America already hate or will hate soon. This is the fatal flaw in humanity, and that's the reality. It's a great line from the show Louis C.K., the comedian's show. When Joan Rivers looked at him, he was complaining about something or other, and she said, know when you're lucky. Know when you're lucky. Nobody seems to be able to do that. Certainly nobody in the political world seems to know when they're lucky. They keep pushing. It's like the Biden administration kept pushing. Trump is going to keep pushing. And people desperately want a sense of normalcy in this country. They don't want an open border. They don't want biological men competing in women's sports. They also don't want to live in a Christian theocracy. They also don't want Elon Musk taking a chainsaw to do Social Security. They don't want the richest man in the world selling Teslas on the White House lawn. They don't want any of this. You know, most people just want normalcy. They want a sense of reality, of time, of purpose. And if the Conservative Party stands for anything, it should be able to give them that and slow the pace of change. It's the entire philosophy of conservatism, is to slow the pace of disorienting and destabilizing change. And in fact, we've seen quite the opposite. We have a transhumanist with a chainsaw running around the White House, screaming and yelling about the need to get rid of the Parks Department. I don't know that that's what anyone voted for. So at this point, right now, if there was an election tomorrow, I swear to God, even though she would throw me in jail, even though she might execute me, right now, there's only one person who possesses the skill set to be the next president of the United States. There is only one person who has, I believe, the internal fire to be the president of the United States. And if you can defeat the monarchy, you can lead this country. So I'm endorsing, as of right now, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, to be the president of the United States in 3 years. Because she can do it. She defeated Britain again, single-handedly, okay? With a couple of magazine articles and a documentary. She has within her the demon that's needed. She can do it. I'm worried about where this administration's going. And we were all clearly worried about what the hell was going on with Joe Biden. But this bitch, making her own honey in Santa Barbara, bringing Mindy Kaling's fat ass over to mispronounce her name. This bitch has it. Sorry, she does. If the presidency in America is for someone that has to, by their very nature, have turned off some of their humanity and acts on instinct to preserve the greatness of an empire, look no further than this bitch. I have fully and completely changed my mind about her. As she goes deeper and deeper into hell and fights all of the people, including me. I'm a big critic, and she doesn't care. She's undeterred. That's what you need a president to be. She is completely, it doesn't matter to her what you think of her. She is a born leader. This is true. Yeah, is it based on anything? Are you wasting my time? Have you listened to me for 8 years? Shut up. You know what this world is already. You know what this world is. Okay? You know what it is. She will beat China. She will beat them. The presidency is about nothing if it's not about little moments. It's not about perfection. It's about little moments. It's about celebrating yourself. It's about loving yourself. It's about family. It's about good friends. It's about little moments. That's what it is. I hope our overlords would do well to remember that. If not, I fear we're getting a dose of Meghan, and soon. Good night.
Vibe blowing at the J, got the loud jumping at the pay. Everything I'm on slack. Everything I do is got the Benz jumping at the bay. Vibe blowing at my J, got the loud jumping at the pay. Everything I'm on slack.
We've been with the Brazilians. This would be the first.
They wild, I think.
I'm innocent.
Bro, you hear that guy? and maybe we're close. We're getting words that things are going okay in Russia, and it doesn't mean anything until we hear what the final outcome is. But they have very serious discussions going on right now with President Putin and others, and hopefully they all want to end this nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's a horrible thing when you look. I get pictures every week. They give me the pictures of the battlefield, which I almost don't want to see. It's so horrible to see young people laying arms and legs.
Storming
and
Trump Tower is
heads
crazy.
laying
It
all
is.
over the field. It's the most terrible thing that you'll ever see. And it's got to stop. These are young people with mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and friends. And
It never would have happened if I was president,
it's gotta
right?
Stop. So we hopefully are going to be in a good position sometime today to have a good idea. We'll have, we know where we are with Ukraine, and we are getting good signals outside of Russia as to where we are with Russia. And hopefully they'll do the right thing.
Great.
It's really humanity. We're talking about humanity. We're not talking about the money. But then you add the money to it, and hundreds of billions of dollars is being spent and really wasted so unnecessarily. It should have never happened. So it's an honor to have
There it
you
is.
here. And I picked a great gentleman. I'll tell you, I was so happy to hear this. You have somebody, Stoltenberg is really good, and you have somebody that's going to do an incredible job. And I was so much in favor of you. You have no idea. They had another person that I did not like. I was not happy. And I think I kept him from, what I'm talking about. I said, this is the right man to do it. And he really did. He was a great prime minister for Netherlands. He did a great job. And that's what he's doing right now. So thank you, everybody, for being here. And it's a very great honor to have you. And we even have some of our great energy people here today. We have the governor, and we have Chris, who's supposed to be the most talented man in the world of energy, according to the governor. So I don't know if he's right, but we have General. You've been fantastic. Thank you very much. We have all a lot of good people that won't be so much involved with this, but they wanted to see what was happening. Become a little bit
This kid fucked up COVID massively. Did he? I feel like almost everybody fucked up COVID.
So with that, if anybody would have a question.
Oh, here we go.
Well, we'd like to see a ceasefire from Russia, and we have been working in the dark. We've been discussing with Ukraine land and pieces of land that would be kept and lost, and all of the other elements of a final agreement.
Yeah.
There's a power plant involved, a very big power plant involved. Who's going to get the power plant, and who's going to get this and that, and so it's not an easy process. But phase one is the ceasefire. A lot of the individual subjects have been discussed. We've been discussing concepts of land because you don't want to waste time with a ceasefire if it's not going to mean anything. So this is what you can get, this is what you can't get. They discuss NATO and being in NATO, and everybody knows what the answer to that is. They've known that answer for 40 years, in all fairness. So a lot of the details of the final agreement have actually been discussed.
Okay.
Now we're going to see whether or not
No.
Russia
Yeah,
goes.
I think no.
If they're not, it'll be a very disappointing moment for the world. Yeah.
Yeah. They're gonna do
I
it.
say that today it was a very promising statement because other people say different things and you don't know if they have anything to really, if they have any meaning or I don't know. I think some of them were
Making shit up.
statements.
Oh, no
don't
way,
think
the
they have
game
anything
actually
to do with
bugged
it.
out.
No, he put out a very promising statement, but it wasn't complete. And yeah, I'd love to meet with him or talk to him. But we have to get it over with fast. Every day people are being killed. It's not like, as we sit here, 2 people will be killed. Think of it. 2 people are going to be killed during this little period of time. Thousands of people a week are dying. So we really don't have very much time. We have to make this fast. It shouldn't be very complicated.
Mr. President, a representative of Canada, the finance minister are in town and will meet members of your administration during the day. Any chances that you will ban on the tariffs on aluminum and the ones that are planned for April 2nd?
No.
You are not going to change your mind?
No, I'm not. Look, we've been ripped off for years, and we're not going to be ripped off anymore. No, I'm not going to bend at all. Aluminum or steel. or cars. We're
So
not
he
gonna
gonna-
bend.
yeah,
We've
okay.
been ripped
All right.
off as a
Wow.
country for many, many years. We've
Damn.
been subjected to costs that we shouldn't be subjected
I'm not
to.
surprised, but still.
In the case of Canada,
That's a
we're
lot.
spending $200 million a year to subsidize Canada. I love Canada. I love the people of Canada. I have many friends in Canada. The great one, Wayne Gretzky, the great. Hey, how good is Wayne Gretzky? He's the great one. But we have, I know many people
For sure.
from Canada that are good friends of mine. But, you know, the United States can't subsidize a country for $200 billion a year.
Nothing
We don't
like it,
need
yeah.
their cars. We don't need their energy. We don't need their lumber. We don't need anything that they give. We do it because we want to be helpful, but it comes a point when you just can't do that. You have to run your own country. And to be honest with you, Canada only works as a state. It doesn't. We don't need anything they have.
I guess that's
As
true.
a state, it would be one of the great states
Yeah.
anyway. This would be the most incredible country.
I mean, shit,
visually.
guys.
If you look at a map, they drew an artificial line right through it between Canada and the U.S. Just
There
a
it is,
straight
dude. Yeah, for
artificial
sure.
line. Somebody did it a long time ago, many, many decades ago,
Mm-hmm.
and makes no sense. It's so perfect as a great and cherished state. Keeping "O Canada," the national anthem. I love it. I think it's great. Keep it. But it'll be for the state, one of our greatest states. Maybe our greatest state. But why should we subsidize another country for $200 billion? It costs us $200 billion a year. And again, we don't need their lumber. We don't need their energy. We have more than they do. We don't need
God.
anything. We don't need their cars. I'd much rather make the cars here.
Bro, this is
And there's not a thing
That's
that we need.
the best
Now, there'll be
state.
a little disruption. but
not
it won't
only
be
is it gonna
very
be a
long.
state, it's gonna be the best state.
But they need us. We really
All right.
need them. And we have to do this. I'm
That's
sorry,
great.
We have to do this. Yes.
How about that?
You made it very clear that NATO needs to step up. Although great progress has been made in your first mandate, how do
Yeah.
you envision this new transatlantic?
You talking about NATO stepping up? Well, NATO is stepping up through this man. This man is a man that only knows how to step up.
Wow,
And
what a
we have the
nice
same
guy.
goal in mind. We want the war ended.
Who are you?
And he's doing his job. He only knows how to do a good job. That's one thing.
That's
why I
it.
fought for him to
Damn,
get that job.
that's impressive.
Because they had some other candidates that I'll tell you would not have done a very good job.
He's saying they're retarded.
Of the move for my family.
Yeah.
We'll get you a clip. We're gonna get him a clip of that little last statement. The rest of the statements he doesn't care.
Warning, BFG 10,000 is firing.
Cooperation. How do you envision it?
Well, that's one thing. I mean, we're on the other side of the ocean.
Yeah.
And they're right there.
There's a lot of water.
We're in for $350 billion because of Biden. And
Warning,
they're
this
in
layer
for
has
$100 billion.
entered the
So
facility.
it's a big difference. And it's unfair. And I said you have to equalize. They should equalize. They should have. It should have never happened.
BFG
Where
10,000 is
Biden just
firing.
gave this money. Now, we have
Could
an agreement
you-
with Ukraine on the
Could you
rare earths
replace
and
Trump with a soundboard?
that'll get us something back.
I feel like you could.
Our money back. We're not doing it for
Yes.
revenue. We're doing, I'm
Yeah.
just doing
Oh
the
my
paperwork
God.
stuff. I'm doing it really to save lives, but at the
Yeah.
same time, we were treated very unfairly, as we always are by every country. And it was very substantially more than the European nations were before, and that shouldn't be, they're much more affected by it than we are.
Warning, BFG 10,000 is
I
firing.
think good things are
Okay.
going to happen.
All right, I'm not
I
gonna
think
do that
good things
again.
are going to happen. I do say we were talking
I'm an idiot.
before, and Martin was very nice. He said if you would get involved, there would be nothing.
There's ants on my
going
desk.
on. This thing would have gone on for a long
Oh,
time.
there were ants on my desk.
Yeah, we broke a deadlock. We did break a deadlock. I hope it's meaningful. Yes, because you have to go.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I have just the news? On the southern border, we've got DHS
Yeah.
and ICE who are reporting that there was a little bit of fudging of numbers during the Biden administration.
Oh.
Kept analysts stopped with respect to reporting
For
number
fish,
of
right?
illegals coming into the country.
Say what the numbers are. I love that question. Who are you with? Very nice.
Just the
That's good.
news.
Do you know how many of those are criminal, illegal aliens? And Biden's out of office, Alejandro Mayorkas, who
No, Biden fudged the numbers. The numbers are totally fake.
Biden is lying about everything. Yep, I knew it.
Numbers. I knew they were fake. Everybody knew they were fake, but now it came out. And
Naturally.
what
Yep.
they did, that administration was a horror show for this country.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know. They gave phony numbers.
Yeah, true. Holding people accountable is what matters.
Bad thing to give, but I'm not sure about that.
It's F? It's for EU. It's because of the tariffs. You guys are tariffed on the stream. 10% of it's F now.
Christy Nome and
It's just
Mike
fair.
Van Holman. How good is Tom Holman doing, right? And the rest of them, I mean, you see they're taking them out in record numbers. Gang
Get 'em out.
members, gang leaders, drug dealers. Who's the problem? The Netherlands does not have. The Netherlands.
And I'm walled off. What is going on?
Oh, wait, we're gonna send all the drug dealers over there? Okay.
What he did to this country, letting 21
All
million
right.
people flow through an open border. Many
Never thought of
those
that.
people Were hard criminals. Prisons in jail for mental institutions. And I always say insane asylums.
My drug dealer was shot last week.
Deranged.
That sucks.
And they're here from not South America, from all over the world. From South America, but from all over the world.
Change your number before the police find his phone.
It's so sad. You'd say, why would anybody do this? Why? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, well, we did, I won every swing state by a lot. And I won the popular vote by a lot. And we won the counties. If you look at the counties and districts,
BFG 10,000 is fired.
we had 2,725, and they had 501.
So true.
That's why the
That's
map
a lot.
is all red.
Wow.
So we had a great. Yeah, I think winning for the Democrats. I saw. If you look the other night, I made a speech, and I introduced two young ladies who were killed. Viciously, violently killed. Young, unbelievable, both outstanding people. They were killed by illegal aliens, and the Democrats wouldn't get up and applaud. The mothers were, I mean, inconsolable. They were crying, and everybody.
Well,
was
yeah, I would
crying.
assume that.
The
You should make a
Democrats said they were
soundboard. I should do a
thrown
soundboard
places.
for
They didn't
this.
clap, they didn't stand, they didn't do
10,000
anything.
is fired.
Yeah.
We had a young man who
That wasn't what she asked about?
His dream is to be with the police department someday. And he was introduced. They didn't even clap. I mean, they were disgusting. Frankly, they were disgusting. There's something wrong with them. They're deranged. They're deranged, like Jack said. They're deranged people. And I never saw anything like it. I'm sorry about that, but I introduced the mother and the parents of these two young girls.
I'm not disagreeing a whole lot there.
Killed. Violent.
Let's be honest.
And the Democrats elected. It's so sad. And I saw it this morning where one of them is, one is arguing, fighting like crazy over men being able to play in women's sports. I thought that was about a 95. I think it's a 95%.
I wish it was.
In a way, I want them to keep doing it because I don't think they can win a race.
It's only
I told
80.
the Republicans, I said, don't bring that subject up because there's no election right now. But about a week before the election, bring it up. You can't leave. And everything's transgender, this, transgender, that.
Everybody's transgender now.
One thing, they stick together. I wish
Yep.
the Republicans stick together.
Even the mice are transgender.
Grandstanders, but the Democrats, they have grandstanders, but when it comes to a vote, they do stick together, right? Well, if they do a shutdown, and ultimately that might lead to very, very high taxes, because we're talking about a shutdown, we're talking about getting to work immediately on the greatest tax bill ever passed. That was the one we did, the renewal, and it's an addition to it. And
Slayer threat level at maximum.
And if
That would be
if we
nice.
don't open, the Democrats are stopping all of these good things that we're providing. We're providing the greatest package of benefits that this country has ever provided. But the biggest part of that's going to be tax cuts for the middle class and for businesses, small businesses, employers, people that hire people in jobs. And if it's shut down, it's only going to be, if there's a shutdown, it's only because
Why are
of
eggs
the
so
Democrats.
expensive?
And
No, they got
would
patched
really
out.
Be taking away a lot from our country.
They patched it out like yesterday.
President, on tariffs, you made clear you're not backing down.
Yeah.
But many American small business owners, they are concerned with these tariffs.
It went down.
So what's your message to them?
They're going to be so much richer than they are right now. We have many yesterday. General Motors says that they want to invest $60 billion. The people from Facebook were in yesterday. They're going to invest $60 billion by the end of the year. Other people are talking about numbers. Apple, as you know, a few days ago announced $500 billion investment. They're going to build their plants in the United States.
You had all these numbers up. That's a lot of fucking money.
Almost all of their plants
God
are in
damn.
China. Now they're building in the United States. Nobody, I was. Look, the reason is two things. Number one, the election, November 5th. And the other thing is tariffs. I think probably in that order. But Tim Cook came in and he announced 500.
Who's that?
Think of it, 500 billion, not million. 500 million's a lot when you think about it, right? Well, I would have been happy with
Yes,
500
sir.
million, but it's $500 billion investment by Apple.
Yes, sir.
in
It's
the
a lot of
United
money.
States. And that's because of the election result, and it's because of the tariffs and the tax incentives too. You know, tariffs and tax incentives. And I've never seen anything like it. We have plants going up now in Indiana. We have plants going up in Michigan. A lot of plants going to be plants.
It's a lot of plants.
Michigan, because Michigan got so badly beaten by
An assload of plants.
what happened with Europe. You know, if you look at Europe, take a look at the EU.
Yep.
We're not allowed to sell cars there. It's prohibitive because of their policies and also their non-monetary tariffs. That's, they put obstacles in your way that you can do nothing about. But if you take a look at what happens, so we sell no cars to Europe. I mean, virtually no cars. And they sell millions of cars to us. They don't take our agriculture, we take their agriculture. It's like a one-way street with them. The European Union is very, very nasty. They sue our companies. Apple was forced to pay $16 billion on a case that, like, very much like my cases that I won. They shouldn't have been even
They're
cases.
fake, yeah.
But we felt they had no case, and they
Yeah.
ended up having an extremely favorable judge and decision. But they're suing Google, they're suing Facebook, they're suing all of these companies, and they're taking
By the way, I agree with the
billions
EU
of
on
dollars
this.
out of American companies, many more than the ones
Yeah.
I just mentioned.
I think these companies
And I guess
need more
they're using it to
oversight
run
and
Europe or
regulation.
something. I don't know what they're using it for, but they treat us very badly. China obviously treats us very badly. Almost everybody does, and I blame past presidents, to be honest.
Which one?
Because when I was president, we received so far about $700 billion from China over the years on the tariffs that I put in. No other president got that.
So I was just curious, right? Who could have
And
been?
that was only beginning, except for COVID. I would have been able to finish the process.
Yeah.
We had to fight the COVID thing, and we did really well with it. But we had to fight, and then we had actually, as you remember, Mark, we had actually handed over the stock market. It was higher than just previous to COVID coming in. It was sort of a miracle, frankly. We did a good job. But the tariffs are very important. And I think the psychology is great spirit. When Mark came in, he said, congratulations, there's a whole new spirit, there's a whole new light over this country, really over the world. Because you have somebody
good.
a whole group of people, really, because they come from...
What was the question? It was why is Biden stupid and why are you better than
But I've
Biden?
never seen investment like this. Trillions of dollars is being invested in the United States now that would have never... Our country could have failed. Another 4 years of this, what happened in the last 4 years, our country would have been a crime-ridden mess. And I don't know if you noticed, little thing they call it, but it's not a little thing if you don't have... If you like eggs and you don't have a lot of money, eggs have gone down 25%.
Wow.
Couple of weeks. We inherited that problem. Eggs. Groceries have gone down a little bit.
That's new
Energy's
chickens.
gone down. You want to speak to that for a second?
Respawned a bunch of chickens. Tons of bonus
I
chickens.
think that Chris and I just came from CERAWeek, which is the largest conference in the world. So global leaders, people from the EU, officials from all the energy-producing countries, all there, and all the global nationals, all the U.S. The spirit of that group through the roof, because now they realize that in the United States, President Trump's policies are pro-developing conventional energy, as opposed to we're trying to shut down energy. And that pro-growth, pro-business, pro-energy approach is giving people the optimism. So then the market is reacting to that, and energy prices on the futures market are going to go down because people know we're not going to be killing off the energy we need for prosperity in all of our countries, but also for peace. People have used energy to fuel these wars that President Trump is working so hard to end, and we know that high energy prices were driving the inflation that we talked about. So it accomplishes two goals for us, which is prosperity for the world, peace for the world, when we have smart energy policies, and President Trump has brought common sense back down about energy.
It was brought down now $65 a barrel I saw this morning. That's phenomenal news. And that's what brought it up. The energy went, they took our beautiful energy policies and they just messed them up. And then they went immediately back to them but by that time they lost it. They lost that Bronco, as the expression goes. Chris, do you have something to say?
Oh, I think Doug said it well, but you just can't overstate how important the return of common sense, the return of knowledge about energy and pro-American consumers, pro-investment in our country. I think globally that would welcome. It means capital flows, it means more sobriety and lower energy prices, more economic opportunity for Americans. But yeah, it laid it atmosphere at a global energy.
Well, we're working on one project. It should be very easy. It's a pipeline going through a small section of New York. New York's held it up for years. For years, they wanted to do it for years and years. And it will reduce the most expensive energy almost in the world is in New England because they have no way of getting it there because it's been held up by New York. And the whole of New England and Connecticut.
They have to use the New York energy for the illegal migrants.
There's one pipeline will save per family $2,500 just on heating, and another $2,500 on
So true.
everything else.
Yeah.
So the energy by a simple pipeline going through an area that wants it.
Just how it is.
An area that's not a rich area, it's actually a very poor area with great jobs and everything else. And it's going to be way underground. Nobody's going to see it. Once they fill it up, nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to know it's there. And families in New York and Connecticut and New England are going to save $5,000 a family. Think of that. Because right now they have the highest energy prices maybe in the world.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's a lot. Seems a little bit unrealistic.
In fact, the governor's coming in, governor of New York.
Yeah, let's see about that.
Very nice woman. She's coming in tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to meet me on that and other things. Not only that, but other things. So I hope we don't have to use the extraordinary powers of the federal government to get it done. But if we have to, we will. But I don't think we'll have to. I can tell you Connecticut wants it and all of New England wants it. And who wouldn't want it? And it's also jobs on top of everything else. So that's going to be very exciting. So we're meeting with the governor tomorrow morning.
Let's see what happens.
Greenland. What is your vision for the potential?
Well, that's a good question.
Of Greenland and getting the potential.
Well, I think it'll happen. And I'm just thinking, I didn't put much thought before, but I'm sitting with a man that gives me you know what, we need that for international security, not just security, international. We have a lot of our favorite players shooting around the coast, and we have to be careful. And we'll be talking to you. It's a very appropriate, really a very appropriate question. Thank you very much.
So when it comes to Greenland, yes or not joining the US, I would leave that outside for me to discuss.
Yeah.
I don't want to break names.
He doesn't want to get involved. That's smart. Very good idea.
We know that the Russians are the army. We know the lack of icebreakers. So the fact that the seven outside Russia, seven Arctic countries working together on the logistics is that that part of the world stays safe. And we know things are changing there. We have to look at it.
So didn't the right-wing party win in Greenland like very recently, a couple days ago or something?
Yeah, was it
or today? Yeah.
Not a referendum.
That's what I thought.
The person that did the best is a very good person.
Working Party's anti-American?
And
I mean, they're Greenland. Makes sense.
Very important. Mark mentioned the word icebreaker, so we ordered, we're in the process of ordering 48 icebreakers. I said, well, you know, you got to pay for that. Think of it, Canada. We pay for their military. You know, Canada pays very little for their military because they think we're going to protect them. But even with the icebreakers, so we're going to order 48, and Canada wants to be part of the deal. And so you got to get your own icebreakers.
Damn.
If you're a state, you can be part of the deal. But if you're a separate country, you got to get your own icebreakers. Russia, as you know, has
He's
about
really
40
pushing
of them.
this.
And we have one big
I thought this was like a
icebreaker.
joke the first time he said
That
it.
whole area is becoming very important.
Yeah.
And for a lot of reasons, the routes are.
Been going on about
very
this for a
direct
bit.
To Asia.
He's not kidding,
to
yeah.
Russia, and you have ships all over the place.
Warning.
And we have to have protection.
10,000
So
is fired.
we're going to have to make a deal on that. And Denmark is not able to do that. You know, Denmark's very far away and really has nothing to do. What happened? The boat landed there 200 years ago or something, and they say they have rights to it. I don't know if that's true. I don't think it is actually. But we've been dealing with Denmark. We've been dealing with Greenland, and we have to do it. We really need it for national security. I think that's why NATO might have to get involved in a way because we really need Greenland for national security. It's very important. You know, we have a couple of bases on Greenland already, and we have quite a few soldiers. Maybe you'll see more and more soldiers go there. I don't know. What do you think about that, Pete? So, don't answer that.
God damn it.
We have bases, so we have quite a few soldiers in Greenland.
Will anything change?
BFG 10,000 is fired.
Your commitment to NATO. Will anything change? Same amount of money.
Well, I think they made a great step by putting Martin Judge.
Oh my God.
He and I have seen eye to eye on everything for a long time. We've been doing this a long time.
What?
And so that's a great step.
Oh my
You have to
God.
keep NATO strong. You have to keep it.
How does this
relevant.
happen?
But the biggest
The
thing we
North
have to worry
American
about
Union
right
is
now
real.
What's going on right now.
I guess so.
The rest is going to take care of it.
I don't even know what to say.
This is something that if we had a competent
Oh my
president,
God.
it would not have happened. The man was grossly incompetent. What you have to do is look at who signs by Autopass.
Yeah.
Who was signing all this stuff by Autopass?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I heard that.
Important documents by Autopass.
Yeah, he's using DocuSign.
Major documents you're signing, you're proud to
President
sign.
using DocuSign. He's sponsored by DocuSign.
Can you imagine? Everything was signed by Autopass. Almost everything. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing. So, should have never happened.
Yeah.
We're going to be with the Justice Department. We have a great Justice Department. Damn. Bonnie is so fantastic. And Todd Blanche. Amo, you got to know him a little bit. He was acting for a little while. And some other people are incredible in the Justice Department. I consider the FBI to be a part of it in a sense. And Cash is going to be fantastic. And all the people. Dan Bongino, I love that.
Well, that's the guy. He used to stream.
We have unbelievable people. And all I'm going to do is set out my vision. It's going to be their vision, really, but it's my idea. Basically, we don't want to have crime in the streets. We don't want to have people
Friday, by the
pushed
way?
into subways and killed. And
That's nuts.
the person that did the pushing ends up in a 15-year trial and gets off scot-free. They want to have justice, and they want to have we want to have safety in our cities as well as our communities. And we'll be talking about immigration. We'll be talking about a lot of things. The complete gamut. So I look forward to that. That'll be tomorrow at the Justice Department.
Oh boy.
You are a man of peace. You said it
Yeah.
several times, and you made it very clear. A man of peace dealing with belligerent people.
BFG 10,000 is fired.
Oh God.
What if he refuses to?
Just the sanctions,
I do have leverage,
obviously.
but I don't want to talk about leverage.
Yeah.
Because right now we're talking to him, and based on statements he made today.
Yeah, he don't want to go and say that.
BFG 10,000 is
Talk
fired.
about that.
Most peaceful
I hope
president?
Russia
I guess so.
Make the deal too, and I think once that deal happens,
We're sending soldiers to Greenland.
I really believe that we had if we get a peace treaty, a ceasefire treaty, I think that's
Smart.
the peace. It's going to really make it. I don't think anyone wants to go back.
Most
They've been
peaceful.
doing this for a long time. And it's vicious and violent. And I think if President Putin agrees and does a ceasefire, I think we're gonna be in very good shape to get it done. We want to get it over with. That's why it was very important what I instructed everybody, including Steve, what we're looking for, to discuss concepts of land, concepts of power plants, because it's complicated. You know, you have a whole, you're sort of creating the edge of a country. The sad part is that country, if they didn't...
Trump said he isn't considering pardoning Darren Chauvin.
It happened, and it wouldn't have happened. I don't know. They would have to get us back. I guess Crimea, you know, I said it last time. Crimea was given by Obama. Biden gave the whole thing, and Bush gave him Georgia. And Trump didn't give him anything. I gave him, you know what I gave him? I gave them javelins. And the javelins were very effective, as you know. I gave them nothing. And then also, I was the one that stopped the pipeline going into Europe. It was totally stopped. Nord Stream 2, nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2 before I came along.
It was like some Russian pipeline or some shit.
President Putin, I got along with both of them. I get along great with President Xi. I got along great with Kim Jong-un. I got along great with all of them.
All right.
No wars, we had no problems. We wiped out ISIS in record time. General Raisin came, and he wiped them out. And he's going to be our new chief, right? He's going to be short chief.
Is that actually his name, or is Trump just saying that?
He's going to be great. He's going to be fantastic. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I don't even know. It's his actual. Yeah, I have no idea. It's a nickname. Okay.
No, I don't. I think when this gets done, it's done. They're going to all want to go home and rest. I don't see it happening. I don't see that happening. And we'll make sure it doesn't happen. It's not going to happen, but we'll make sure it doesn't happen. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Well, maybe they're going to talk about non-nuclear weapons.
Oh, you're still alive.
We're talking about the de-escalation of nuclear weapons. Because, you know, I was talking about President Putin very strongly. And we could have done something had that election not been rigged.
Where he is.
I think I would have made a deal with
Shit.
Putin on
Surely. Surely, gentlemen. Yep.
We would have de-escalated nuclear weapons because the power of nuclear weapons is so great and so devastating. Right now, Russia and us have by far the most, but China will catch us within 5 years. China doesn't have, but they're in the process.
Why do they need that many bombs? They can already blow up the whole world.
4 or 5 years, they'll probably.
Yeah, I feel like at that point. Yeah. Sell them? Sell them to North Korea.
It's what you have been doing your first term, and it is important.
It would be a great achievement if we could bring down the number. We have so many weapons, and the power is so great. And number one, you don't need them to that extent. And then we'd have to get others, because as you know, in a smaller way, Kim Jong-un has a lot of nuclear weapons, by the way. A lot. And others do also. You have India, you have Pakistan, you have others that have them. And we get them involved. But we started off with Russia, and those we have by far, actually by far the most. And we were going to denuclearize. And that was going to happen. And then we were going to China. And I spoke to President Xi about it. And he really liked the idea. You know, like not to spend trillions of dollars building weapons that hopefully we're never going to have to use. They are very cheap. So,
I would assume that. Yeah.
That would have been great. Okay, 1 or 2 more.
All right. Oh, geez, they're doing this again?
30 years straight have said if there's a shutdown, bad things happen. Do you conflict leader of the Democrats?
They need me on there 100%. Right now, it's 2 or 3 people. They shut down. It's not the Republicans' fault. You know, we passed a bill to We had an incredible Republican bill. We only had one negative.
Yeah, the government being shut down. Yeah, I don't think so.
There's always a grandstand.
It's a term, you know?
But it was amazing. People were amazed that the Republicans were able to vote in unison with Trump. If there's a shutdown, even the Democrats admit it will be their fault. And I'm hearing a lot of Democrats that will vote for it, and I hope they do. This is an extension. But ultimately, we want to vote for one big, beautiful bill where we put the taxes in, we put everything in.
All right.
We can have big tax cuts.
Oh no!
For companies coming into our country and employing lots of people.
Big, yep, true.
You made me waste it. What?
Rare moment. One big, beautiful bill. That's what I like. And it seems to me that's where they're heading. And we'll have to take care of something to do with Los Angeles. The place called Los Angeles almost burned to the ground. By the way, I broke into Los Angeles. Can you believe it? I had a break-in. I invaded Los Angeles, and we opened up the water. And the water is now flowing down. They have so much water, they don't know what to do. They were sending it out
If he brings up the
Pacific
fish,
for environmental
please
reasons.
bring up the fish.
Okay, can you believe it? And in the meantime, they lost 25,000 houses.
Come on.
Nobody's ever seen anything like this. But
BFG 10,000
the
is
water,
fired.
Yeah.
let me show you a picture. You've seen the picture. The water is flowing through the half pipes. You know, we have the big half pipes.
They banned the fires. They're no longer allowed in LA. Yeah, they're illegal now.
Warning.
Again, for
BFG
environmental
10,000
reasons.
is firing.
Well, I turned it on for environmental reasons and also fire reasons, but and I've been asking them to do that during my first term. I said, do it. I didn't think anything was going to happen like this, but they didn't have enough water. Now the farmers are going to have water for their land,
BFG
and the
10,000
water
is
is in there.
firing.
But I actually had to break in. We broke in to do it because we had people that were afraid to give water. They were, in particular, they were trying to protect a certain little fish. And I said, how do you protect the fish
did it.
if you don't have water?
Just
They
like
didn't
what
have
I
any water,
said.
So they're protecting the fish. And that didn't work out too well, by the way. So,
You knew it was going to happen.
a lot of water
You
going
did.
down throughout California, all coming out from the
Everybody knew
Pacific
this was gonna
Northwest,
happen.
Even some from Canada. Thank you, Canada, very much. I appreciate it. Next thing you know, they'll want to turn the water off. They want to charge us for the water. But it comes up from the Pacific Northwest, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I mean, it is brimming with water. Now, if they would have had that done, we wouldn't have had the damage because the fire would have been put out. The fire hydrants would have been loaded. The sprinklers in people's living rooms and bedrooms would have been loaded up because they had no water. The government makes them put sprinklers and they had no water in the sprinklers because they had no water. So the water is flowing, and we're going to have to give a lot of money to Los Angeles to help them.
Sure
And
will.
the Democrats are going to want to do that. So that's the one thing. I think that makes it a lot easier. But one of the big thing is we have the big beautiful bill. We got to get that done, and that will put our country in a position like it's never been. It's a reduction.
I don't know if they're going to shut down the government. Probably not going to happen, right? Yeah, seems unlikely.
From all over the world into our country. It's great environmentally, but it's not this environmental scam that we went through. We all went through. It provides for everything. It's a big, beautiful bill, and I hope we can get it approved, and that'll be next. But in the meantime, we have to continue with the resolution, and the Republicans have approved it, and now the Democrats have to approve it. And I hope they will. I think a lot of them, I can tell you, they want to. I've spoken to some of them. They really want to. Their leadership may not want them to. And if it closes, it's purely on the Democrats. All right, one more.
Weakening tensions, increasing in the peninsula. You've talked
Is he
about
going to be able to maintain the peace? Well, I don't know.
Re-establishing the relationship you had during the
Possible.
I had a great relationship with him. If I was
Okay.
elected, if Hillary got in, you would have had a nuclear war with North Korea. He expected it. He expected it. And they said, oh, thousands of people. No, millions of people would have been killed.
That's a lot.
But I got in. We went to Singapore, we met. We went to Vietnam, we met. We got along really good. We had a very good relationship, and we still do. We don't have that threat that we had. I mean, look, when I was running the first time,
With Kim Jong-un? Okay.
that better than anybody. Yeah. And It started off very rough, and he wouldn't meet with Obama, wouldn't take his call. I said, how many times did you call me? Called a lot. He wouldn't take that call. He told me I wouldn't. But with me, it did start off rough, if you remember. Very rough, actually, very nasty. And, yeah, but then...
Yeah, so he said he's going to bomb him.
Then it stopped. The rhetoric was extremely tough. It was a little bit dangerous. And then we met. They asked for a meeting. And we met. And the meeting was the Olympics, which was in South Korea, to become a tremendous success. Nobody was buying tickets for the Olympics because they didn't want to be nude. And I met. And not only did the Olympics become successful, but North Korea participated in the Olympics.
Did they really? I didn't even know that. Imagine what happens when you lose.
Great achievement. And
yeah, I'd be worried.
so I have a great relationship with Kim Jong-un. And we'll see what happens. But certainly he's a nuclear power. Thank you very much, everybody.
Man.
Thank you very much.
They all won medals. Check it out. Did they really? Damn, good for them. Wow. Well, there it is. The content president. As I said, bro, he streams more than most streamers. He does a lot. I'm waiting for Trump to say North Korea, wonderful people, wonderful, that our American friends, democratic countries in the world. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen, man. I got a pretty good feeling it might not. Sorry to say. But, yeah, there it is. And, yeah, wow. Well, we're annexing Greenland. We're going to be sending troops over to Greenland. I think this is a, you know, really not a surprise at all. I would kind of expect this. But, yeah, we're going to be annexing and taking over Greenland, which is nice to see. It's another new place for us to have, expand the empire, take over more countries. You guys know how it is. And so, yeah, great. There it is, live stream president. I guess so, right? This was really funny to see happen. It was. This was
where
really,
am I going?
really funny. Let me see if I can find this and pull it up. Apparently, they're having a crisis. They are like things are looking dire after this speech. This speech was a really, really bad one for him. I'll go ahead and I'll play this.
President Trump right now is giving remarks from the White House, from the Oval Office. And as soon as we get those taped remarks, we will play them out for all of you to see.
And maybe with us, we're getting words.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I can't believe Democrats didn't clap for the kid with cancer. Cancer, baby. Had him on stage. Democrats didn't clap for him. They like when kids have cancer. They didn't clap for me when I said I'm going to deregulate the EPA so more children can also have brain cancer from chemical exposure.
Or a reason that's like more defensible.
BFG 10,000 is live.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have Micheál Martin, Taoiseach, Ireland. It's a special place, and he's a very special guy. He did it the hard way also. He served, and then he took a little time off, and then he served again. I've heard about that. That happens on occasion. And he's done very well. And we knew each other from a long time ago. But it's a great honor to have you in the Oval Office and have you at the White House. We have tremendous business relationships with Ireland, and that will only get stronger. The relationship we have personally and every other way is very, very strong and very, very good. So I just want to welcome you to Washington, D.C. and to our country, and thank you very much.
May I thank you, President?
great honor for me to be here to celebrate St. Patrick's with you. Thank you for your hospitality and the warmth of your reception. And I commend you in terms of the work that you're doing, particularly in terms of the pursuit of peace, which we discussed earlier. I think that's going well. And we really have about 100 years of this government.
Oh no!
Everybody's watching.
You!
Thank you.
Delighted to be here. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it's a great honor to have you on. Special people, very special people. I know a lot of Irish, and growing up in New York, I know a couple of your people that used to live in that beautiful Ireland, and now they're here, but they love your country very much. You know, they have a great feeling for your country.
They have, and a lot come back for holidays and
they come back.
Stuff like that. Checking out their family and sisters.
Great, fantastic people.
Some go to Dundee as well.
And they go I love Dundee. I love them. I don't know if I'll ever see it again. Maybe I won't, but I think I will. We'll get there. We're going to get there. It's a beautiful place, wonderful place. Any questions?
President, on tariffs, how far
Yeah, please.
President Trump, how worried are you about the counter tariffs from the EU, which were announced yesterday? And also, how worried should Ireland be, given the fact that it has a massive trade surplus with the US for $50 billion? Neil Martin makes it quite nervous about what's going to develop today.
Well, I don't think it was nervous to me. And if he was nervous, he wouldn't show it. No, we do have a massive deficit with Ireland, because Ireland was very smart. They took our pharmaceutical companies away from presidents that didn't know what they were doing. And, it's too bad that happened. It's a tremendous job. Look, the Irish are smart. You're smart people. And you took our pharmaceutical companies and other companies, but, through taxation and proper taxation, they made it very, very good for companies to move over there. And we had presidents and people that were involved in this and had no idea what they were doing. And
it's not a lie. It's not lying. Ireland is a tax haven.
Lost big segments of our economy. The European Union treats us very badly. They have for years. I saw that. I had it out with them in my first term. We did well, but we had to solve other problems, and we did. But the European Union's been very tough. And it's our turn too, we get a turn at that also. But they have not been fair. They sue our companies and win massive amounts of money. They sued Apple, won $17 billion. And they use that for other reasons, I guess, or to run the European Union. So I'm not knocking it. They're doing what they should be doing, perhaps, for the European Union. But it does create ill will. And as you know, we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs. So whatever they charge us, we're charging them. Nobody can complain about that. Whatever it is, it doesn't even matter what it is. If they charge us 25 or 20% or 10% or 2% or 200%, then that's what we're charging them. And so I don't know why people get upset about that, because there's nothing more fair than that. And we had a problem with Ontario, and they dropped that when I let them know what we were going to be doing. They dropped it immediately, so I'm glad, because electricity, you shouldn't be playing with electricity. It affects people's lives. Actually their life. I mean, it can affect, depending on weather, it can affect their life. So we can't do that. And it doesn't make sense that our country allows electricity to be made in another country and sold into us. Who did that deal for the United States? Okay, I looked at that long ago, and I said that's not something that's very smart. So we've had a lot of bad trade policies, and yet we're doing very well right now. But we're doing well because I won the election. If I didn't win the election, you would have had a very bad period. I think a lot of the stock market going down was because of a really bad 4 years that we had.
It wasn't. Oh shit, dude! I didn't realize. I thought it was because you kept saying you're gonna do tariffs and then rolling them back like a dipshit every day. It turns out no, it was Biden again. Damn it! God, he's so good at this. How can he keep doing this?
When you look at inflation and all of the other problems that we have, wars and inflation and so many other problems, but we're gonna have very good years. We had I don't know if you saw a little thing like the busted eggs. little to you, but big to people out there, down almost 30% in the last few days. We got it down. We did a lot of things. We have a great Secretary of Agriculture, and we did a lot of things that got the cost of eggs down very substantially, and so many other things. A very big thing that I'm very happy with is oil is down to $65 a barrel, and that's faster than I would have said. We put on the gas, we stepped on the gas in order to get oil, and what's happening. So we're getting that down, and when energy comes down, prices are going to be coming down with it. So in a very short period of time, we've done a very good job. And I think that the tariffs...
Oh my God!
Again, reciprocal. I think that the tariffs, there are some cases where they're a little beyond reciprocal because we've been abused for a long time as a country. We have been abused really for a long time, and we will be abused no longer. Okay.
Are you going to retaliate to the EU?
Education, sir, would you describe for us as this meeting your vision by cutting about half the workforce? And then what responsibility do you feel to the civil servants who have now lost their jobs? Many of them worked at the Department of Education during the first term.
Sure, I do. I feel very badly, and but many of them don't work at all. Many of them never showed up to work. Many of them never showed up to work, Kelly, and unfortunately, and that's not good. And when we cut, we go, and that's what
America, the permanent victim, always the victim.
But I had a number of meetings with a lot of people over the last couple of months. When we cut, we want to cut, but we want to cut the people that aren't working or not doing a good job. We're keeping the best people. And Linda McMahon is a real professional, actually a very sophisticated business person. And she cut a large number, but she kept the best people. And we'll see how it all works out. But our country...
Speaking about the people that Muda is capitulating to, oh yeah, I saw this. No. I also saw a bunch of people who were like, quote, retweeting him and being like, nah, Hassan, we hate you a lot more than we hate Muda. And it's so funny because the dude is basically openly saying he's a... dude is openly saying he's a bit like, yeah, he hates Muda because he hates me more.
Country was run very badly. I mean, whether it was that or contracts that were signed that were so bad, so obviously bad, and I go through them in speeches. I could go through them all day long. I could read for billions and hundreds of billions of dollars, and all of that fat and waste and fraud and abuse is being taken out. But it's incredible what's happened. Now, Department of Education, maybe more so than any other place, has a lot of people that can be cut. They're number one, not showing up to work. Number two, they're not doing a good job. And if you take a look at our education process, and if you look at the charts, because they have numerous charts where they do the top 40, we're at number 37, 38, 39, and 40. And recently they hit, during Biden's last few days, they hit last. So they were number 40, and yet we're number one in cost per pupil. So it's pretty bad. But we have a dream. And you know what the dream is? We're going to move the Department of Education. We're going to move education into the states, so that the states, instead of bureaucrats working in Washington, so that the states can run education. And you have Norway, you have Denmark, you have Sweden, you have Finland, you have various countries that do very well. You also have China that does very well in education, which is a pretty big tribute to China, I must say. 1.4 billion, and they're in the top 10. And it's pretty amazing. So we can't blame size anymore. Normally you blame size. It's too big. How can you do it? But China does it. So we think when you move it back to Iowa and Indiana and all the states that run so well, there's so many, I could name 30, maybe almost 40. Those will be as good as Denmark. Those will be as good as Norway, and they'll be as good as any of these. I believe they'll be as good as any. Now then you're going to have 10 that won't be so great. You're going to have 5 that will not be good at all, but we'll work with them and we'll get them to be good. But
that's interesting because I don't think it's localities that dictate how much privatization takes place in China or Norway or any other country that you mentioned, and yet your advocacy or what your solution is to the problem that Americans are facing is to gut the Department of Education instead of like gutting the private profiteering in this sector that causes the funding to move in the opposite direction.
What we want to do is always school choice, but we're going to do school choice, and we're doing it. But we want education to be moved back where the states run education, where the parents of
Blocked
the
again!
children
Fuck!
will be running education.
Blocked
where
again!
governors
Jesus
are
Christ!
Yeah, I want the dumbest people on the planet to have a say in what kind of education kids are getting. You know, Christian Science and the like. That'll certainly make us competitive in the fucking global stage in terms of education.
A very good job. We'll be running education, not run. I drive through the city and I see like so many buildings, Department of Education, Department of big buildings, the department. And by the way, they're empty. Nobody shows up to work. So I think Linda did a very good job.
Mr. President, do you have a meeting with Vladimir Putin scheduled or a conversation? What would be your
I won't comment on that, but we had a great success yesterday. We have a full ceasefire if it kicks in. We have to see. It's up to Russia now. Relationship with both parties, actually, and we'll see. We'll be knowing people are going to Russia right now as we speak, and hopefully we can get a ceasefire from Russia. And if we do, I think that would be 80% of the way to getting this horrible bloodbath finished. It's a bloodbath is taking place over there. On average, 2,000 to 3,000 young people per week are being killed in that stupid war that would have never happened if I were president. So we have people going over there, Mr. VP. Do you have anything to say about it? Because you're very much involved. What's going to happen?
Well, we've got some conversations that are happening on the phone and in person with some of our representatives over the next couple of days. As the president said, we think that we're in a very good place where the Ukrainians have agreed to a ceasefire, and we're now going to see whether we can get the Russians to agree to a ceasefire too. And we'll certainly have news.
Yeah, I wanted to pull that "have you said thank you yet" shit to Vladimir Putin. That's what I want to see. Have you said thank you yet? Yeah, say thank you to fucking Adolf Hitler. Okay, I wonder how that would go.
So on that when we find out that news.
Are you confident that Vladimir Putin will keep the ceasefire, considering that he's broken it in the past?
We haven't spoken to him yet with substance because we just found out and we just were able to get Ukraine to agree. So we're going to know very soon. I've gotten some positive messages, but a positive message means nothing. This is a very serious situation. This is a situation that could lead to World War III. And Biden should have never let it happen. Incompetence allowed this to happen. This shouldn't have happened. October 7th in the Middle East should have never happened with Israel. The horrible leaving, the way they left Afghanistan should have never happened. Inflation should have never happened. You know, we have great inflation numbers, by the way, just got released. Inflation is way down. And it's based on what we've done. And we've done it in a very short period of time. You know, we had virtually no inflation. For 4 years, we had almost no inflation, and when these characters took over, we went from no inflation to the worst inflation probably in the history of our country. So it's very interesting. Go ahead. And by the way, I have to speak of inflation. I love these socks. What's with these socks? I'm trying to stay focused, but I'm very impressed with the VP's
But the United States is recognized as such an important role in the peace process, and yet half the parties to the world now that non-Republicans somehow get things out.
What are they boycotting?
They are talking about their position on that.
Oh, I haven't heard that. I really haven't heard that.
Can I just say to the President on the peace initiatives? The one thing we've learned in Ireland about the peace process that was spoken about, and I recall back in the early 90s, when the first tentative steps to get peace in Ireland, people criticised people like John Hume or people like Albert Reynolds of Taoiseach. But they kept going. And when we got that ceasefire in 1993, okay, it took a number of years to get the comprehensive ceasefire, but began to go more or less narratively on the side. The war in Ukraine was a devastating war and young people. And I think that very simple, straightforward narrative is to be commended. We all have children. I mean,
Dude, I'm sorry. This is the most embarrassing Irish representation I've ever seen in fucking broad daylight. Like, dude, you can't. How do you call yourself Irish and then glaze Donald Trump, dude? This is completely unacceptable. I guess you gotta do that. You gotta genuflect. You gotta kiss the ring.
I'm shocked at the prospect of young people losing their lives in that number. Be the Ukrainians, be the others. Anything we can do to stop the violence, I think is an extremely positive thing. And there will be all sorts of people having qualifications on it, all the rest of it. It's our job then working with them to try and do this.
I will say, and thank you for that, but I will say, last week 2,500 young people died while we sit here and talk. And while they talk about peace, they've been talking about peace. This should have never happened. This war should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president. That's what makes me more angry than anything else. Because you've had far more people die than they report, than these people report, for whatever reason. But you had far more people. The numbers are far more devastating. You'll find that out someday. And it doesn't affect you very much. They're not Irish, and they're not from my country. They're from Russia mostly, almost all from Russia and from Ukraine. And people can say, why are you doing it? Why are you involved in that?
Bro, he's a Dugan truther. He's saying they're mostly Russian. Russia is killing mostly Russians. All of Ukraine mostly is Russian. And then maybe some Poles. This guy, Alexander Dugan, he's got a lot of good ideas. Ukraine? Do you mean more Russia? Ukraine is just flat Russia. It means the border. Folks, I'll tell you, back in the day, you wouldn't say Ukraine, you'd say the Ukraine. Why would you say the Ukraine? Because it means the border. I love borders. I love borders so much, I want to build the wall. Keep the Polish out of Ukraine. We must restore Russia to its glory by allowing it to maintain
right in the middle
its
of the
beautiful border, also known as the Ukraine.
Because 2,000 people a week are dying. And they have families, and they have mothers, and they have fathers, and they have sisters, and they have brothers and friends. And they're dying. And I've seen the pictures, the satellite pictures that we see all the time. And it looks like Gettysburg in its prime. Because that was, they say, one of the most horrific battles ever. You have kids lying all over these fields that are dead. Because the weapons today are unbelievable, between drones and various types of guns. I'm not even talking about beyond that with the big babies. You understand what I mean? I hate to even mention the name, the nuclear.
The big babies.
The nuclear name, I hate to mention it. But you have weapons today that are so powerful. And I see kids every week. I see pictures of kids laying all over the field dead. They're dead. Beautiful kids. They're dead. And they're not from here and they're not from where you are, but he's working very hard. We're all working hard to get this thing finished. It's crazy over nothing, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's just a terrible situation. And I think we have a chance to get it done. So we've gotten half of it as a ceasefire. And if we can get Russia to stop, then we have a full ceasefire. And I think it'll never go back to war. I think something will say it.
A lot of talk in the government, I don't think Ukraine must go to occupied territory, so it's just banned from
Good morning!
Did Ireland come up in that conversation before you didn't concern in management?
One thing I'll tell you, you're not from Israel, that's for sure. Huh? She's definitely not from Israel. It's an interesting question coming from you. We talk about everything. Israel is under siege, as you can see, and they had to fight back. October 7th was a terrible thing. People don't like to mention it, but it was a terrible, terrible day in the life of the world. And it's amazing the way people don't mention it, but it was, I've never seen anything like it.
I want to hit him!
You know,
Him! Get the fuck out of my way!
But I see clips, and that was a terrible day for the world. And,
terrible clips.
We're working hard with Israel. We're working hard to see if we can solve the problem. I will say I just saw 10 hostages and they were treated really badly. They were really treated badly. I was shocked. I asked them, was there any kindness shown? They were in there. One was in there for 500 days. One was 323 days. I said, was there any, 10 of them. I said, was there any kindness? Like, did they ever, like, say, don't worry, you'll be okay? Or give you a little wink, or give you, like, an extra slice of bread or something? And everybody said, all of these people said, zero. It was hatred, it was pure hatred. So, I mean, that's a very deep-seated problem.
Give some advice. Ireland is in the midst of a housing crisis now, and I know you've a lot of experience in business. How can the state build 10,000 houses?
You know why they have a housing crisis? Because they're doing so well. They can't produce houses fast enough. That's a good problem, not a bad problem. Exactly.
Will you put more tariffs on the EU, Mr. President? Will you?
Everybody should have that problem. That's okay.
Will you put more tariffs on the EU?
I know this gentleman. He'll get it solved.
Will you put more tariffs on the EU? Will you respond to their retaliation?
Oh, this in the news.
You will retaliate.
The problem is our country didn't respond. Look, the EU was set up in order to take advantage of the United States.
Including Ireland? Is Ireland taking advantage of the US?
We'll say, again, you know, I have great respect for Ireland and what they did, and they should have done just what they did. But the United States shouldn't have let it happen. We had stupid leaders. We had leaders that didn't have a clue. Or let's say they weren't business people, but they didn't have a clue what was happening. And all of a sudden, Ireland has, you know, our pharmaceutical companies and other. This beautiful island of 5 million people has got the entire U.S. pharmaceutical industry. You know, you mentioned housing and you mentioned other things. I mean, I have property in Ireland, as you know, and I love it. It does great. But I'd like to have, I'd like to see the United States not have been so stupid for so many years. Not just with Ireland, with everybody. You know, I looked at trade deals. I was telling the group yesterday, I looked at trade deals in term one. It's one of the reasons I decided I had to do this, because somebody had to straighten it out, and I didn't see anybody that was going to. I looked at trade deals that were so bad, I'd actually say, how is it possible that this could have happened? Who would have been so stupid to let these deals happen? For instance, when the pharmaceutical companies started to go to Ireland, I would have said, that's okay if you want to go to Ireland, I think it's great. But if you want to sell anything into the United States, I'm going to put a 200% tariff on you, so you're never going to be able to sell anything into the United States. You know what they would have done? They would have stayed here. He's so lucky that I wasn't.
What's really funny about this conversation is that he's not technically wrong, okay? He's not wrong. Ireland is a tax haven. And I have long been an advocate for America using its, like, market entry. You know what's really funny about the tariff shit? Whenever people ask me, Hassan, what about capital flight? What about capital flight? What about, you know, the tax havens that exist all around the planet? Like, that's the reason why America has to lower taxes. I'm like, no, that's not true, okay? Because we do have entry into the American market. It's a huge, huge benefit for these companies. And I have long maintained the position that if you are an American company and you move your assets overseas, or if you're an American company and you move your manufacturing overseas, then if you don't pay the taxes back to the United States of America that you need to pay, then you don't get to sell shit here. This is something that I've talked about quite a bit. This is something that I've advocated for quite a bit. And it's weird because on the one hand, Donald Trump refuses to advocate to increase taxes. He wants to make taxes competitive with tax havens, but simultaneously he's just like saying, like, that's why I want to do tariffs. Yeah, do fucking taxes. Do taxes, and also apply tariffs if you want in terms of companies leaving the country. And if they don't pay taxes and they want entry into the American marketplace, fucking tax the shit out of them at the point of entry, or just shut them off from the American marketplace.
Ireland, are you planning to lower corporate taxes in Patrick Ireland?
Well, we are planning to lower taxes, yes, if the Democrats behave, but the Democrats have no clue. You saw that the other night during the speech. 2 young women were slaughtered by illegal aliens. 1 young man has very serious cancer and many other problems.
EU heads coping, claiming that they weren't created to screw over the United States. It's wrong. EU was created to undermine the United States of America. Wrong. That's why the EU was created.
Look at the people up there. They all had difficulty, very serious difficulty. But
yeah, he's like, oh, I can't believe Democrats didn't clap for the kid with cancer. Cancer baby. Had him on stage. Democrats didn't clap for him. They like when kids have cancer. They didn't clap for me. When I said I'm gonna deregulate the EPA so more children can also have brain cancer from chemical exposure.
When we're talking about 2 young girls, beautiful young girls, Lake and Riley, you know the whole story. That
he's literally like, look at all my props that I put forward, and the Democrats didn't actually, entertain them. How messed up.
That evening was a disaster for the Democrats, in my opinion. And I would mention, and I'd see 2 mothers that were inconsolable as they stood, crying. Their daughters have been absolutely just destroyed, killed, viciously killed. And the young man who loved the police departments, he had cancer and has cancer, very bad cancer. There wasn't from people sitting here, Democrats, there wasn't a hand clap, nobody stirred, they were just stone faced. These people are sick, there's something wrong with them. There was no standing for anybody. The only thing they liked was when they heard about the death taking place with Ukraine. They were happy about that. They were happy about that. Pocahontas was very happy. She's the one that was slapped. That's why I looked at her and said, oh, it's Pocahontas. These people are sick. They don't know what's happening in the real world. The Democrats have to get their act together. And if they don't vote, then what you're going to do is you're going to have taxes that are going to go through the roof. You're going to have a very bad time. You're going to have some very bad things happen. And people are going to blame. And Schumer is a Palestinian as far as I'm concerned. He's become a Palestinian. He used to be Jewish. He's not Jewish anymore. He's a Palestinian. Okay.
There's a lot of on and off, some inconsistency.
There's no inconsistency, only with NBC, which is one of the worst networks on television, by the way. Let me just tell you the inconsistency. I have the right to adjust. And I was called by the automakers, as an example, General Motors, Ford, etc., the big 3, the big 4, and they asked me to do them a favor. Could I delay it for a period of 4 weeks so that they're not driven into a little bit of a disaster for them? They actually love what I'm doing, but they had a problem. And I'm not like a...
Yeah, you call Mahmoud a Hamas sympathizer, right? That's what you're...
Palestinian, as far as things happen.
They call Chuck Schumer a Palestinian.
She's very happy. She's the one that was slapped. That's why I looked at her. I said, oh, it's Pocahontas. These people are sick. They don't know what's happening in the real world. The Democrats have to get their act together. And if they don't vote, then what you're going to do is you're going to have taxes that are going to go through the roof. You're going to have a very bad time. You're going to have some very bad things happen, and people are going to blame the Democrats. And Schumer is a Palestinian, as far as I'm concerned. He's become a Palestinian. He used to be Jewish. He's not Jewish anymore. He's a Palestinian. Okay.
There's a lot of on and off, some inconsistency.
There's no inconsistency, only with NBC, which is one of the worst networks on television, by the way. Let me just tell you the inconsistency.
Okay, let me tell you something, okay? The reason why the ADL is not making a statement about that is because they agree with Donald Trump. They too like using Palestinian as a pejorative, and they also think that, Chuck Schumer is not harsh enough. Under the regime of Zionism, a genteel U.S. official can denigrate a Jewish official's identity if the genteel demonstrates absolute loyalty to the dictates of foreign apartheid state called Israel. Under the same rules, and not... Yeah. That's true. You can say whatever the fuck you want. You be the most anti-Semitic dude on the planet. As long as you're pro-Israel, it don't matter. A lot of these people don't care about actual anti-Semitism. They simply care about being pro-Israel. If you're pro-Israel, you're A-OK. You can say whatever you want.
I have the right to adjust. And I was called.
Oh, they did make a statement. My bad. A president has many powers, but none of them include deciding who is and isn't Jewish. Doing so and using Palestinians as a slur are both beneath any POTUS. Instead of weaponizing people's identity, use the power of the bully pulpit to bring the American people back together. You were doing so great yesterday when you were advocating to deport. You were doing so great yesterday when you were trying to deport Mahmoud. Now you're calling Chuck Schumer a Palestinian. ADL defending Schumer. Yeah. Softest condemnation of all time. Oh, yeah, it's not serious. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck what ADL has to say, bro. I'm sorry.
By the automakers, as an example, General Motors, Ford, etc.
I really hope that Trump catches wind of the ADL getting mad at him and then gets mad back at the ADL and then starts calling them Palestinians too. That'd be sick. I'm just imagining a world where Trump and the ADL are duking it out. Oh, that'd be so funny. I mean, nothing would come of that, obviously. ADL itself is no longer like an institution with any sort of teeth. Like, they've completely lost their sauce, right? Having said that, it would be sick if they fought.
The big three, big four, and they asked me to do them a favor. Could I delay it for a period of 4 weeks so that they're not driven into a little bit of a disaster for them? They actually love what I'm doing, but they had a problem. And I'm not like a block.
Why would the ADL push back? Are they trying to save their PR? Yeah. They want to come across like a legitimate institution because of all the normies. A lot of normies basically lost confidence in the ADL. They just like kind of dropped ADL in its entirety. And the reason why they did is because the Sig Heil salute. Like when the ADL defended Elon Musk, very clearly hitting the Sig Heil, I think that was a big point for a lot of normies to be like, okay, I'm done. Like normies that don't normally pay attention, they're like, dude, come on. You are not a serious, reputable institution. And I think that is the reason why they have to like turn around and now kind of play ass covering to the best of their ability to be like, no, we still care about anti-Semitism in moments like this.
I won't rely on. It's called flexibility. It's not called inconsistency. It's called flexibility. And I think you want me to be flexible too.
Flexibility is going to be your ongoing.
Sure, I'll always have flexibility, but there will be very little flexibility once we start. April 2nd is going to be a very big day for the United States of America. America is going to take back a lot of what was stolen from it.
SpaceX rescue postponed? Nice.
By other countries and by, frankly, incompetent U.S. leadership. Grossly incompetent. I gave you an example of Ireland. I would have never let that happen. Impossible for that to have happened. But
wait, what? Oh, I thought he was talking about like the Good Friday Agreement or something. For a second, I was thinking like, Ireland, it had its own October 2nd. Let me tell you, okay? The Troubles, very troublesome. That's why they call it the Troubles. I would have never let that happen. Ireland would be united.
We're going to take back our wealth, and we're going to take back a lot of the companies that left are coming.
Bloody Sunday! It's the bloodiest, folks. It's like Gettysburg from the standpoint of blood.
Back, if you haven't read, we have the biggest computer chip company ever, has virtually all of the market. I didn't call them, they called me. And they called for 2 reasons. Number one, we had a great election of somebody that they want running the country. And we won in a big mandate. We won every swing state. We won by millions of votes. We won by 2,750 districts to 500. Think of that, 2,750 districts to 500. That's why the map, when you looked at it, was entirely red, meaning Republican. Not meaning communist. So anyway, look, this country needed somebody to defend it. It's this big, beautiful place that was being ripped off by illegal immigrants coming in from prisons, coming in from mental institutions. gang members, gang leaders, drug dealers, pouring into our country with the open borders. I am so angry at...
Do you think they're still going to be talking about this election win in 3 years? Yes. The Falcon 9...
Just to make sure that the vehicle is safe.
It didn't work.
We can make a call in time to prevent going through unnecessary procedures as well. So again, we didn't load propellants on the vehicle. That does make this egress a little bit easier, a little bit faster for the crew.
And that clamp arm that we keep referencing, so those clamp arms are on the transporter erector that Falcon 9 is on top of, and they are located around the second stage of Falcon 9. There you can see them on your screen right above the lower thirds. And they stay around the second stage of the Falcon 9 until we have the strong back retract, which takes place in the final minutes of the countdown around the T-minus 4.5 minute mark.
Dude,
exactly.
Dude, I saw this poll. I think this survey, this major poll that came out, what did it say? Like, yeah, 56% of adults say they disapprove. 44% of Americans still say they approve. Okay? I'm sorry, but Americans are unsalvageable. Okay? Americans are on crack cocaine. The fact that there are 44% of Americans that are like, nah, dude, his economy handling is great, is so insane to me, dude. It is insane. So much of this is just like cult-like thinking and having a telegenic guy be the messenger that says the economy is gonna be great. That's it. The fact that there are 44% of Americans that still say like, nah, shit's great, actually. God damn. God damn. I had a coworker tell me volatility in the market is good. I'm excited. I think so much of these conversations want to sound smart and don't want to entertain the notion that they might have been wrong. And so they're just like kind of responding to whatever comes their way with like a, nah, you don't understand. Things are still good, brother. Like, I think that's what's going on. Because what your coworker told you, what your coworker just told you is unironically the dumbest coworker take of all time. It's such a classic, incredibly stupid coworker take. Coming from a guy who just wants to sound smart. Is the Patriot double down? Yeah. Stock market volatility is good, just not for you, okay? Definitely not good for you. Because under our handling of the stock market, the gains are privatized, but the losses, well, the losses are socialized. That's how it works. Bro, it's not that. These people don't think they're smart. They think Charlie Kirk is smart. Incredible stuff overall. Every time I learn a new thing about
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says that they have identified the leakers who exposed the locations of upcoming immigrations and custom enforcement raids. This is a big deal. And our